July 23rd, 1942. The darkest side of Treblinka begins the moment the train doors slide open. Passengers step onto a perfect lie. Benches, timetables, a painted clock stuck at 6. No barracks, no labor, no factory. This was not a camp that imprisoned. It was a facility that erased. Within 2 hours of arrival, almost everyone would be dead. Treblinka existed for one purpose: extermination disguised as routine. Between July 1942 and October 1943, roughly 780,000 to 925,000 people, mostly Jews, were murdered here. That's close to 4,000 human beings a day. Yet Treblinka remains almost unknown. No famous photographs exist. The Nazis bulldozed it flat, planted trees, built a farmhouse over the graves. They wanted this place forgotten. For decades, it nearly was. But the machinery of death that operated here reveals something essential about how the Holocaust worked, not through random cruelty, but through industrial process, through paperwork and blueprints, through men who went home for dinner after a day of mass murder. Tonight, we're going inside Treblinka, not as distant observers, but as witnesses to the system. We'll trace the pipeline from arrival to annihilation. We'll walk the path that hundreds of thousands walked, the path lined with lies, ending in gas. And we'll ask the question that still echoes: how did this machine keep running? How did human beings build a place designed solely to erase other human beings? The answer will disturb you. It should. Because Treblinka didn't begin with gas chambers, it began with a decision. And decisions, once made, can be unmade. Spring 1942. In a quiet corner of occupied Poland, near the village of Treblinka in the Sokołów district, construction crews arrive. They're building something the locals don't understand. 2 camps, actually. The first, Treblinka, had opened months earlier as a forced labor camp. Prisoners quarried gravel. Brutal but comprehensible. This new site, Treblinka II, sits a mile away through the pine forest. It's different, smaller, strange, surrounded by barbed wire interwoven with branches so thick you can't see through. And it's being built very, very fast. The man overseeing construction reports to Berlin. His name is Odilo Globoknik, SS and police leader of Lublin. Globoknik answers directly to Heinrich Himmler. The project has a code name, Operation Reinhard, named after Reinhard Heydrich, the architect of the final solution, recently assassinated in Prague. The operation has one objective: liquidate the Jews of the general government, the Nazi-occupied Central Poland, as quickly and quietly as possible. Treblinka is the largest cog in this machine. The other 2 are Sobibor and Bełżec. Together, these 3 camps will exterminate nearly 2 million people. But Treblinka will be the deadliest. Because Treblinka learned from mistakes. The design is deliberate. The camp covers roughly 42 acres and is divided into 3 zones. Camp 1 houses the SS Guards and Ukrainian auxiliaries. About 30 Germans, 120 Ukrainians. Camp 2 is the reception area. Here, trains unload. Here, deception begins. Camp 3, hidden behind a camouflaged fence the prisoners call the Tube, contains the gas chambers. Almost no one who enters Camp 3 comes out alive. The whole facility is ringed by double fencing, 2.5 meters high, barbed wire wrapped tight, stuffed with pine and juniper branches. Guard towers sit at intervals, machine guns, searchlights. Nothing elaborate. This isn't a prison. It's a slaughterhouse, and the architects know it. By July 1942, the gas chambers are ready. 3 rooms in a brick building. Each chamber measures roughly 5 by 5 meters and is less than 2 meters high. They're disguised as showers, fake shower heads, tiled floors, a sign, to the baths and inhalation rooms. In an adjacent shed, a diesel engine idles. Some sources state that the engine is scavenged from a Soviet tank. When it runs, it pipes carbon monoxide into the chambers. It's industrial, efficient, hideous. But here's what makes Treblinka different from random violence. Every detail serves the process. The fake station with the painted clock, it calms arrivals. The signs pointing to fictitious destinations, they create compliance. The narrow tube pathway to the gas chambers, it prevents resistance because no one can turn around. No one can see what's ahead. This isn't cruelty for its own sake. This is engineered murder. The first commandant, Irmfried Eberl, is a doctor. He ran the T4 euthanasia program, gassing disabled Germans in the name of racial hygiene. At Treblinka, he applies the same logic: eliminate those deemed unfit to live. Eberl is ambitious. He wants high numbers. He wants efficiency. But in the early weeks, he pushes the system too hard. Trains arrive faster than bodies can be processed. Corpses pile up. The stench reaches nearby villages. Himmler is furious. By August, Eberl is replaced. The new commandant is Franz Stangl, a former police officer who had run Sobibor. Stangl is calm, precise, meticulous. He wears white riding clothes and carries a whip. He doesn't scream or brawl. He manages. Under Stangl, Treblinka becomes what it was designed to be: a factory, a death factory, operating at capacity every single day. By autumn 1942, a second gas chamber building opens. This one has 10 chambers, each capable of holding 400 people. The killing capacity quadruples, and the cars keep coming. But where are these trains coming from, and who is on them? Late July 1942. In the Warsaw Ghetto, notices appear on walls. Resettlement to the east. Jewish families are told to gather at the Umschlagplatz, the assembly point, with 1 suitcase and 2 days' food. They're promised work, farmland, a new start. Many are skeptical, but the Nazis hold leverage. Comply or starve. The ghetto is already a death trap. Disease, starvation, overcrowding. Resettlement sounds like survival. Between late July and September 1942, roughly 265,000 Jews from Warsaw are deported. Most go to Treblinka. The journeys take hours, sometimes longer. The trains are cattle cars, freight wagons sealed shut, no water, no air, no toilets. People press against each other in the darkness. Children cry, the elderly collapse. Some die en route. Their bodies remain in the cars until arrival. When the train finally stops, it pulls onto a siding. The doors slide open. SS guards shout, "Raus! Schnell! Leave your luggage on the platform. You'll get it back after disinfection." Families stumble out, blinking in daylight. They see the fake railway station. The signs. Białystok this way. Volkowisk that way. It looks almost normal. That's the point. An SS officer addresses the crowd. "You have arrived at a transit camp. You will be sorted by occupation. Tradesmen, step forward. Everyone will shower and be disinfected before moving to the labor camp. Cooperation will be rewarded." His tone is bureaucratic, unremarkable. And for a moment, there's relief. People fold their coats, tie their shoes together so they don't lose them. But then the yelling starts. "Move! Faster! Women and children to the left, men to the right. Whips crack, dogs bark." The tone shifts. Families are separated. A mother reaches for her child. A guard shoves her forward. There's no time to resist, no space to think. The crowd surges forward, corralled by Ukrainian guards with clubs. This is the selection. But it's not like Auschwitz, where some were chosen for labor. Here, almost everyone is selected for death. Only a handful are pulled aside. Young, strong men and women. Carpenters, tailors, those who can sort luggage, clean the convoys, maintain the machinery. They're the Sonderkommandos, the special units. Their job is to keep the system running. They know what happens in Camp 3 because they dispose of the evidence. The rest move forward, women and children first. They're herded down a fenced path. It's called the Tube, or the Road to Heaven. Die Himmelfahrtsstraße. The path is narrow, perhaps 3 meters wide, lined with barbed wire and camouflage. You can't see over it. You can't turn back. The crowd presses from behind. At the end of the path, there's a building. It looks like a bathhouse. You're told to undress. Leave your clothes folded. You'll need them after the shower. Women have their hair shorn, quickly, roughly. The guards say it's for hygiene. It's not. The hair will be baled and sent to Germany to stuff mattresses and make felt. Naked, humiliated, confused, people are driven into the chambers. The rooms are packed. 400 people in a space meant for far fewer. Shoulder to shoulder. The doors slam shut. Heavy, airtight, darkness. Then the engine starts. Carbon monoxide floods the chamber. It's not instant. It takes time, 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes. People scream, pound on the walls, claw at the doors. Children are crushed underfoot. The strong try to breathe higher air. Some lose consciousness quickly. Others suffocate slowly. When the engine finally stops, the doors on the opposite side of the building open, not into the camp, into the death zone. The Sonderkommandos rush in. They pull the bodies out, tangled, twisted, some still warm. Gold teeth are extracted with pliers. Anything of value, rings, fillings, goes into SS coffers. The bodies are dragged to mass graves. Later, when burial becomes impractical, they'll be burned on massive pyres, 2,000 at a time. The entire process, from arrival to death, takes 2 hours, and then the next train arrives. How did the SS keep this running day after day? How did the Sonderkommandos endure it? The answer lies in a system designed to break the will. Prisoners knew they would die. Their survival depended on compliance. Some hoped for rescue, some lost their minds. Some chose quiet acts of resistance, slowing the work, hiding valuables from the SS. But the machine kept grinding. Because at Treblinka, you weren't a person, you were a number. And numbers don't resist. They're processed, but those numbers had names. And some of those names survived long enough to remember. What they saw in Camp 3 would haunt them forever. Imagine this. You're a carpenter from Warsaw. Your name is Yankel Wiernik. You arrived at Treblinka in August 1942, one of the few pulled from the crowd for labor. You're told you'll build barracks. Instead, you're led to Camp 3. You see the gas chambers, you see the pyres, and you realize you're not here to live. You're here to dispose of the dead. This is the reality for the Sonderkommandos. They work in shifts. Some sort luggage. Some clean the rail cars. Some drag bodies from the gas chambers. Others work the burial pits, and later, the burning pyres. The work is unbearable. The smell is suffocating. Every body you touch is someone who arrived that morning. A child, an elder, a mother clutching an infant. The gas chambers themselves are designed for efficiency, not cruelty, but the result is the same. When Wiernik arrived, 3 chambers were operating, each one roughly 5 by 5 meters, less than 2 meters high, hermetically sealed, a gas pipe inlet, a tile floor that slopes toward a drain, fake shower heads in the ceiling. The victims are told they're showering. They're told to hurry. Some suspect. Some resist. But the doors are thick. The guards have guns, and the crowd behind pushes forward. The diesel engine in the adjacent shed runs constantly when transports arrive. It's loud. It belches exhaust. The carbon monoxide is piped directly into the chambers. Death is not instant. Survivors who worked the gas chambers describe hearing screams that fade over time. They describe bodies pressed so tightly together that they remain upright, even after death. They describe the faces of those who clawed at the walls, scratches still visible on the plaster. When the doors open, the Sonderkommandos rush in. They have minutes. The next group is already undressing. They pull the bodies into the courtyard. They check for gold teeth, jewelry, anything valuable. The SS supervise. If a worker slows down, he's beaten. If he refuses, he's shot. His body joins the pile. But by late 1942, burial becomes impossible. Too many bodies. The pits are full. The stench spreads for miles. Himmler orders the evidence destroyed. A specialist is brought in, Herbert Floss, an SS officer experienced in cremation. He designs a new system, massive pyres, built on rail tracks laid across the pits. Bodies are stacked like cordwood, 2,000 at a time. Gasoline is poured. The fire burns for days. Wiernik, forced to work the pyres, later writes, "The bodies burned slowly. We had to use hooks to pull them apart when they fused together. The smell was unbearable. The heat was so intense that our faces blistered, and the entire time, the trains kept coming. We knew that if we stopped, we would be thrown onto the fires ourselves." The scale is staggering. By early 1943, the new gas chamber building with 10 chambers is fully operational. Each chamber can hold 400 people. That's 4,000 victims per cycle. The camp processes multiple transports per day. On the busiest days, up to 15,000 people are murdered. The bodies are cremated within 24 hours. The ashes are scattered or buried in pits. By spring 1943, the SS begins exhuming older mass graves to burn those bodies too. They're erasing the evidence. They know the war is turning. But the SS also knows something else. The Sonderkommandos are witnesses. They've seen everything. Eventually, they too will be killed. That's the plan. Every few months, the old Sonderkommandos are led to Camp 3, shot and replaced with new arrivals. The cycle repeats. Yet some Sonderkommandos survive longer. They're skilled, they're useful, and slowly, secretly, they begin to plan. Because they realize that if they're going to die anyway, they might as well fight back. But resistance at Treblinka isn't like Warsaw. There are no guns, no bunkers. The camp is surrounded by forest, guards, and mines. Escape seems impossible, yet the prisoners whisper at night. They hide tools, they wait for an opening. And in the summer of 1943, that opening comes. The genius of Treblinka, if you can call industrial murder genius, isn't in the gas chambers, it's in the system that precedes them, because the killing only works if the victims comply. And compliance depends on deception. From the moment a family boards the train in Warsaw or Białystok or Theresienstadt, they're fed a story. Resettlement, labor camps, a new start in the East. The story is reinforced at every step. The fake railway station, the signs, the clock that never moves. Even the station name, Treblinka, is painted on a sign as if this were any other stop on the line. When people disembark, they're told to leave their luggage. You'll get it back after disinfection. They're told to remember where they left it. Some tie their shoes together. Some write their names on suitcases. They believe they'll need these things again. That belief buys time. Time to sort the crowd. Time to separate families. Time to march them down the tube before panic sets in. The deception extends even into the gas chambers, the fake shower heads, the signs, "To the baths." The guards shout, "Hurry, the water is getting cold." Some victims realize the truth at the last moment. The smell, the lack of water, the sealed doors. But by then, it's too late. The chamber is packed, the doors are shut, and the engine starts. After death, the deception continues. The bodies are searched for valuables. Gold teeth are extracted, wedding rings removed. Hair, already shorn, is baled and shipped. Clothing is sorted, disinfected, and sent to Germany for redistribution. Nothing is wasted. The SS even saves the ashes. They're mixed with sand and used to pave camp roads or sold as fertilizer. This isn't random looting. It's bureaucratic plunder. There are inventories, receipts, shipments logged. The SS main economic office oversees the flow of goods from the camps to the Reich. At Treblinka, millions of pounds of clothing, thousands of pounds of gold, and entire warehouses of household goods are processed. The killing is industrialized, and so is the theft. But the system has a weakness, the Sonderkommandos. They see the deception, they process the evidence, and they know that one day the SS will kill them to silence what they've witnessed. So they begin to resist in small ways. They hide valuables, gold, dollars, diamonds, not for themselves, but to slow the SS machinery. They sabotage equipment. They accidentally damage clothing. They work slowly. The SS beat them, shoot some, but others take their place. And then, in early 1943, the transports begin to slow. The ghettos are emptying. By spring, fewer convoys arrive. The SS knows the war is turning. The Red Army is advancing. The camps must be erased. At Sobibor and Belzec, the gas chambers are dismantled. The grounds are plowed, trees are planted. Farmhouses are built over mass graves. The plan at Treblinka is the same. But the Sonderkommandos hear the rumors. They know that once Treblinka closes, they'll be killed. So a small group of prisoners, led by a former Jewish officer in the Polish army named Zelomir Bloch and a doctor named Julian Chorążycki, begins to plan an uprising. They steal tools. They bribe Ukrainian guards with gold. They map the armory. They wait for the right moment. The plan is desperate. They'll set fires, steal weapons, rush the gates. Most know they won't survive, but they also know that if they do nothing, none will. So they prepare, they wait, and on a sweltering afternoon in August 1943, they strike. But before we get to the uprising, we need to understand what happened in the months before. Because Treblinka's darkest chapter wasn't the gas chambers, it was the realization among the prisoners that even their deaths were designed, choreographed, timed, and hidden. And the only way to resist erasure was to make sure someone survived to tell the story. By the spring of 1943, Treblinka is operating at full capacity. The camp processes transports from across occupied Europe, from the Warsaw Ghetto, from Białystok, from Theresienstadt, from Thrace and Macedonia, Jews, Roma, and Soviet prisoners of war. Some transports carry children separated from their parents. Some carry entire villages. The numbers are staggering. Between late July 1942 and September 1943, an estimated 780,000 to 925,000 people are murdered at Treblinka. That's more than the atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki combined, more than the population of entire cities. And it happens in a facility roughly the size of 30 football fields, operated by fewer than 150 men. The logistics are as horrifying as the murders. Every transport must be unloaded, processed, and erased before the next arrives. The Sonderkommandos work in brutal shifts. They clean the rail cars, scraping excrement, removing the dead who suffocated en route. They sort the luggage, clothing, food, photographs, heirlooms. They cut the hair of women before they're driven into the gas chambers. They pull the bodies from the chambers and search them for hidden valuables. They stack the corpses on pyres and burn them. And then they do it again. The psychological toll is unimaginable. Some prisoners go mad, some commit suicide. Some become numb, moving through the day like automatons. Others cling to small acts of humanity. Yankiel Virnik later recalls smuggling bread to children before they enter the gas chambers. It changes nothing, but it means something. The SS too adapt. They refine the deception. They post signs in multiple languages. They install a real clock, functioning this time, to reinforce the illusion of a transit station. They plant flowers around the fake infirmary where the sick and elderly are shot behind a screen. They play music, a small orchestra of prisoners forced to perform as new arrivals disembark. The music is cheerful, upbeat, grotesque, but cracks appear in the system. Some prisoners resist. A man named Mayor Berliner, a Polish Jew, attacks an SS officer named Max Bielas with a knife. Berliner is killed, but the act sends shockwaves through the camp. It proves resistance is possible. It plants a seed. Then, in March 1943, something extraordinary happens. A transport arrives from Grodno carrying a group of Jews who fought in the ghetto uprising. They know what Treblinka is. They know they're going to die, and some refuse to go quietly. When ordered to undress, a handful attack the guards with bare hands. They're shot immediately, but their defiance is witnessed and it's remembered. Around the same time, the transports begin to slow. The ghettos are nearly empty. The SS starts dismantling other camps. At Belzec, the gas chambers are torn down. At Sobibor, prisoners stage an uprising in October 1943, killing several guards and escaping into the forest. Word reaches Treblinka. The Sonderkommandos realize if Treblinka closes, they'll be executed. Their only chance is to act first. But the uprising doesn't just happen. It's planned over months by a secret committee. They recruit carefully, trust no one outside the inner circle. They bribe Ukrainian guards for information. They map the armory, where the rifles are kept when it's least guarded. They smuggle gasoline and kerosene to set fires. They sharpen tools into weapons, and they wait for the right moment. The challenge is timing. Too early, and the SS will crush them. Too late, and the camp will be liquidated. The plan is set for August 2nd, 1943. It's a Monday, a scorching summer afternoon. Most of the SS officers are away. Only a skeleton crew remains. It's now or never. At 4:30 p.m., a prisoner working in the armory breaks in. He steals 20 rifles, grenades, and ammunition. He passes them to others. The plan is in motion, but then a complication. An SS officer notices something. He starts asking questions. The prisoners realize they have to move now, before the alarm is raised, before reinforcements arrive. And so the uprising begins. Not as planned, not perfectly, but it begins. August 2nd, 1943, 4:45 p.m. A gunshot cracks across Treblinka, then another. An SS officer falls. For a moment, everything freezes, and then chaos. Prisoners rush the armory. Fires ignite in the barracks. Gasoline-soaked rags are thrown onto roofs. Smoke billows into the summer sky. Ukrainian guards fire into the crowd. Prisoners fire back with stolen rifles. Some have axes, some have shovels, some have nothing but rage. Zelomir Bloch, one of the uprising leaders, shouts, "Death to the murderers!" Treblinka must cease to exist. Others take up the cry. The uprising isn't about escape, it's about erasure. If the prisoners can destroy the camp, burn the records, kill the guards, maybe they can deny the SS their victory. But the SS are trained. The Ukrainians are armed, and within minutes, machine guns open fire from the guard towers. Prisoners fall in waves. Some make it to the fences. They cut through the wire with stolen tools. Others are shot climbing over. Bodies hang from the barbed wire, tangled and bleeding. Roughly 300 to 400 prisoners manage to break through. They flee into the surrounding forest, but the forest offers no safety. The SS mobilizes search parties. German police comb the woods. Ukrainian collaborators hunt escapees for bounties. Some prisoners are shot on sight. Others are captured and returned to Treblinka, where they're executed publicly as a warning. By nightfall, the uprising is over. The camp is in ruins. Buildings burn, bodies litter the grounds. The SS counts their losses, several guards dead, including 2 SS officers, but hundreds of prisoners are also dead. And the camp, though damaged, still stands. The SS response is brutal. The remaining Sonderkommandos, those who didn't join the uprising or were too injured to flee, are executed over the following weeks. The camp is gradually dismantled. The gas chambers are torn down, the buildings are burned, the mass graves are exhumed, and the bodies are burned on pyres to erase evidence. By November 1943, Treblinka is gone. A farmhouse is built over the site. A farmer is installed. Crops are planted. The SS nearly succeeds in erasing Treblinka from history, but they fail in one critical way. Some prisoners survive. Of the 300 to 400 who escaped during the uprising, fewer than 70 survive the war, but those nearly 70 become witnesses. They testify at trials. They write memoirs. They refuse to let the world forget. One of those survivors is Jankel Wiernik. After escaping, he hides with a Christian family until liberation. In 1944, he writes a detailed account of Treblinka, including sketches of the camp layout and gas chambers. His testimony becomes key evidence at the Nuremberg trials. Another survivor is Samuel Willenberg, one of the last living Treblinka survivors. Decades later, he helps establish the Treblinka Museum and Education Center. He sculpts bronze figures depicting the anguish of the victims. He spends his final years ensuring the world remembers. But what happened to the perpetrators? The men who built the machine, the men who operated it, the men who went home each night after a day of mass murder. Franz Stangl, the commandant of Treblinka, escapes in 1943. As the Red Army advances, the SS evacuates westward. Stangl assumes a false identity. After the war, he flees to Syria, then Brazil. For decades, he lives quietly in Sao Paulo, working in a Volkswagen factory. He has a home, a family, a normal life. But in 1967, Nazi hunter Simon Wiesenthal tracks him down. Stangl is arrested and extradited to West Germany. At trial in 1970, he's convicted of complicity in the murder of 900,000 people. He receives a life sentence. In interviews, he claims he was just following orders. He insists he never personally killed anyone. He frames himself as an administrator, not a murderer. In 1971, he dies in prison of heart failure. Irmfried Eberl, Treblinka's first commandant, is arrested by American forces in 1948. He hangs himself before trial. Kurt Franz, Stangl's deputy, is captured and tried in the 1960s. He's convicted of participating in the murder of 300,000 people and sentenced to life in prison. Franz kept a photo album from Treblinka, images of the camp, the guards, the victims. The album is titled Schöne Zeiten, Beautiful Times. It becomes evidence at his trial. Many others escape justice. Some disappear into South America. Some assume new identities in Germany itself. Some are never caught. The trials continue sporadically into the 21st century. In 2015, a 94-year-old former Treblinka guard is charged as an accessory to murder. He's too ill to stand trial. He dies before conviction. The SS succeeded in one thing. They nearly erased Treblinka. Unlike Auschwitz, no massive infrastructure remains. The Nazis dismantled everything. They plowed the grounds. They planted lupines, a fast-growing plant that would obscure the soil. They ordered the farmer who lived on the site to deny the camp ever existed. But in 1959, the Polish government establishes the Treblinka Museum. The site becomes a memorial. 17,000 granite stones are placed across the grounds, one for each Jewish community destroyed in the Holocaust. At the center stands a massive stone monument marking the location of the gas chambers. It's jagged, fractured, like broken teeth. The inscription reads, "Never again." In 1988, the camp is declared a national monument. Survivors visit. They leave stones. They light candles. They say Kaddish for those who have no graves. But the question remains, how do you memorialize a place designed to erase memory? How do you teach the lessons of Treblinka when the Nazis tried so hard to make it vanish? The answer lies in testimony, in documents, in the stories of the 70 who escaped and survived, in the writings of Yankel Viernik, who sketched the gas chambers from memory, in the testimony of Samuel Willenberg, who spent decades sculpting bronze figures so future generations could see the faces of the victims, and in the vigilance of historians, educators, and survivors who insist this happened, this was real, and it must never happen again. Treblinka exists today as a field of stones. If you visit, you'll walk across uneven ground. You'll see the 17,000 granite markers, some tall, some small, representing the communities erased. You'll stand where the gas chambers once stood. You'll trace the path of the tube, the narrow corridor lined with barbed wire where hundreds of thousands walked to their deaths. But you won't see the buildings. You won't see the train platform with the fake clock. You won't see the pyres or the mass graves. The Nazis erased it all. What remains is absence, and that absence is its own kind of horror, because Treblinka forces us to confront a truth we'd rather avoid. The Holocaust wasn't an explosion of irrational violence. It was a system, a machine, built by engineers and administrators, operated by bureaucrats and guards, maintained through paperwork, schedules, and supply chains. People designed this, people chose to participate, and people chose to look away. Treblinka wasn't an aberration. It was a process, refined, tested, and scaled. The deception that began with deportation notices in Warsaw ended in gas chambers disguised as showers. The pipeline was seamless. The killing was industrialized, and the evidence was nearly erased. But nearly isn't enough, because the 70 who escaped refused to be silent. They testified, they wrote, they sculpted, they built memorials, and through their courage, Treblinka exists not as a secret, but as a warning. On August 2nd each year, survivors and descendants gather at the memorial. They light candles for the 900,000. They read names, they stand in silence, and they ask the question that haunts every generation. Could this happen again? History says yes. Genocides have followed. Cambodia, Rwanda, Bosnia, Darfur. The methods change, the technologies evolve, but the core remains. Dehumanization, bureaucracy, compliance, the belief that some lives matter less than others. Treblinka teaches us that evil doesn't announce itself with horns and fangs. It arrives in memos and train schedules. It hides behind euphemisms, resettlement, special treatment, final solution. It relies on ordinary people to carry out extraordinary cruelty. But Treblinka also teaches resistance. The uprising of August 2nd, 1943 was doomed from the start. The prisoners knew it, but they chose to fight anyway. They chose defiance over compliance. They chose to make sure that if they died, the world would know what happened. And because of them, we do. We know the layout of the gas chambers. We know the names of the perpetrators. We know the scale of the crime. We know that between July 1942 and October 1943, Treblinka erase. If this story moved you, challenged you, or helped you see the Second World War differently, it would be an honor to have you join our growing community. Subscribing isn't just a click. It's a way to support more powerful stories, more forgotten voices, and more truth from the past. So if you believe these stories matter, hit that subscribe button and let's keep building this journey together. And don't forget to leave a comment. We read everyone and love hearing your thoughts. Until next time, keep exploring history with Epic War. Keep asking questions. Keep seeking the truth.